whatchamacallit? Ooh, nah, for real. Please don't mind the stuff in the background. Hey, I just ate with that plate. For anybody that's about to be like, ma'am, you need to clean up after yourself. No, you need to let me the fuck alone. You need me to fucking learn. Now, okay. We're going to be working with Wavy my hair. I'm not going to show the full process of me doing this hair, but this is basically the regular skunk stripe method that you guys see all the time. But with the twist. Because you know why? She got old. She gonna ain't the same no more. And a lot of y'all gonna know what I'm saying when I say it. Because y'all have already seen the thumbnail when I say it before I say it. And I said it. And I did it. And I said it. Nah, let me chill. Okay, so yeah. So I'm about to dye this back of the hair fully titanium. What color now? I'm making up colors. Fully limelight. Like this hair, this whole back here is gonna be limelight. It's gonna be limelight. All right, so let me dye it and then yeah. Okay guys, so I curled the hair off of camera, and yeah, this is the hair. For starters, this blonde wig, you know, usually blonde wigs, they be very like, some blonde hair like don't be good, but this blonde wig is very nice. It curled very beautifully, mind you, it's a straight unit, and the curls came out very pretty. I didn't want the curls to be like too curly, but I wanted the hair to be curly, so like the hair could be different colors throughout the hair. This hair is so pretty. I love it. I wanted to do like a skunk stripe with a twist. Now the bottoms are supposed to be black, but they're like low-key coming up blue. But it's so cute because like every angle of this hair has a different color. Every angle of this hair has a different color. And I love it. Like, I love it so much. I know I keep touching it, but yeah, I will leave this blonde hair unit down below in the description box so you guys can go purchase it. And I really hope you guys like this little mini tutorial of me dyeing the hair. I was gonna film more, but y'all, it was not coming out the way I wanted it to come out, so I really had to concentrate. And if the camera's in front of me, I can't concentrate like that. But yeah, like I said before, this blonde unit is very nice and it does not shed. I've had blonde units where like they shed as I'm like dyeing it, as I'm brushing my hands through it. This hair does not shed. And this wig, like I said before, is from Wavy My Hair. Now let's get straight into the story time, because y'all, I'm gonna give y'all a disclaimer. This story time is not that long because I thought I was done with all my McDonald's story time, but then I was like, bitch. I literally woke up one day and said, bitch, you forgot one of the most main story times about Chuck. The downfall of Chuck. Okay. I'm gonna give a disclaimer. If you guys have not watched my McDonald's story times, y'all need to pause and actually just go down. Like, go down to like anything that says Coworker or McDonald's. I usually title like at the end McDonald's horror story or McDonald's series. Watch those first so you guys can know who Chuck is before you watch this, because you're gonna be watching this and you're gonna be like, who the fuck is Chuck? Who's Chuck? Who's that? I have never seen this person a day in my life. Who is that?
I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this man.
For my people who have already been catching up, period. They get into the story time about the downfall of my coworker Chuck and how he got arrested and is like low-key still in jail to this day. Okay. So if you guys know Chuck, like I told you guys in my other story time, Chuck was just a ladies' man. Like, I'm going to describe Chuck for you guys so you guys can get like a visual of how Chuck looked. Chuck was 6'3/6'4". He looked like he was like 200 pounds. He looked like he was a lighter complexion. He was lighter than me. And he looked like an African boy. Like, all jokes aside, like he looked like an African boy. But Chuck was still handsome. Like, I mean, not that African boys are not handsome, but like he looked like a handsome African boy, you know? So Chuck, first of all, Chuck's height already made girls like him. You know, personally, Chuck was not my type. I don't really like people that look like Chuck, like dark skins. And like I said, Chuck was lighter than me, and I am a dark skin, but like, you know, I don't want to say I'm on a lighter side of dark skin, but y'all see what I mean. Like, I'm a little on the lighter, like up there of dark skins. And so if Chuck is lighter than me, y'all already know Chuck is like, he wasn't even like touching dark skin. He was like in the caramel phase, like treading towards the dark skin area phase. So he was not my type because I like dark niggas, and like he just was not my type. He wasn't my type. But Chuck was still, I could see why girls liked him. Like, I could just see. So Chuck, do you guys remember the story time about the time where my manager got caught stealing from the registers? Not the story time that I just dropped a week ago, but the one that I dropped when I worked at McDonald's with my friend, and I'm gonna leave it up here. If I don't, sorry. But yeah, so basically Chuck, y'all remember towards the ending of the story time, I told y'all that Chuck left some girl at Galveston because she didn't want to smash. So because the girl did not want to smash him, he decided to leave her at the beach. And mind you, the beach was like an hour from where we live. He left her there. I'm gonna get into my story time about Chuck and my friend. Now, I'm not really gonna go too deep into it, but basically Chuck ended up messing with one of my friends, and this was way before I worked at McDonald's. And I guess my friend sent him some explicit photos,
and he didn't expose her, but he sent it to the group chat, and one of the niggas in the group chat did not like her, and so her and the nigga were going back and forth one day, and he decided to just expose her. So that's how it happened, and she knew it was Chuck because she sent it to Chuck. At this point, my friend hated him, and like I told you guys in the other story time, when I first seen him at McDonald's, bitch, I hated him too, because my friend hated him. But me and him started becoming closer as time went on or whatnot. I found out through my friend, like my friend, she didn't really tell me much about him other than the fact that like he was the reason that like she got exposed. But as I really started like knowing Chuck, I found out that Chuck stole her phone also. Yes, y'all, Chuck stole this girl's phone and she filed a police report. Now, at this point, when she's telling me this, I'm like, what? She's like, yes, he stole my phone after I messed with him and da-da-da and this and that. And she filed a big police report on him. So at this point, I'm like, nah, this nigga wild. So I went to go ask him because me and him were friends, you know? So I was like, you stole a girl's phone? He starts saying, well, he basically starts like beating around the bush and shit like that. I'm like, nigga, did you steal the phone? Yes or no? Like, did you steal the phone? He's like, well, this is that. Okay, you stole the phone. You stole the phone. So at this point, I'm like, damn, like, what's wrong with Chuck? Because like the version that all the bitches was getting with Chuck, I was not getting that same version. I just wasn't. Now, let me pause and tell another story time. So it's this girl that I used to smoke with all the time. And if you guys know her, I put her in my other story times with Chuck as well. And me and her, we just always used to, after school, I would go to her house. I would smoke with her. We'll order pizza, we'll order food, and we'll just eat. We'll chill, we'll be twerking, we'll be dancing. Like, you know, just doing like, you know, I want to say kid shit, but I would never expect my kid to do that. But we was just doing kid shit, you know. So Chuck calls me one day when I'm at her house and I just got done smoking with her. And he's like, Irene, I need you to come pick me up now. I'm like, where are you? He's like, I'm at such and such. Now where he was like, I'm gonna say give or take, I'm gonna say a good 15 minutes from where old girl was at. So I was like, nah, nigga, we not coming to get you, because like we had just, the pizza that we ordered had just got there, and y'all already know when y'all smoke, y'all be having the munchies. We wanted to sit down and eat, and he talking about come and get me now. I'm like, no, we're not coming to get you, we're going to eat. He's like, bro, please. I'm like, why do you want me to come and get you? Like, why are you even there? He tells me that he just got done fucking a bitch and they don't have a ride home. I'm like, how did y'all get there? I guess they said they rode the bus. I guess him and the girl went to the same school and they rode the bus. And they basically, I guess they went to her cousin's house because I guess her people was home and his people was home. So they went to her cousin's house, but they didn't have a ride home. Like the cousin refused to drop them off. So I was just like, what's going on with you? Like, and literally I was hearing about a different girl every single other week. It was a different girl that Chuck was messing with. So I drove over there to go get him. I'm like, I told old girl, I was like, come on, let's go get him. At this point in time, we get him, and like literally, like I pulled up and I see the girl and she just standing like a nun. Don't stand like a nun now. I know what you did. So she's just standing like a nun, and I'm like, and I was like, I just smiled and she smiled back. And I'm like, come on, Chuck. And then Chuck's like, what you mean, come on? I'm like, come on, I'm here. Mind you, I'm in the window talking. I'm like, come on, I'm here. He's like, you ain't gonna take her home too? Hey, when did I say I was gonna take that girl home? I don't know who that is. Like, I don't know who that is at all. So now at this point, my friend, she in the passenger, she's like, we ain't never said we taking her home. Mind you, my friend was very, very, very bold, boisterous, loud mouth. So my friend, she was not having it. She said, we ain't never said we was taking her home. She said, you told us to come and get you. We don't know what she's gonna do. We don't care either. So like, why didn't you tell me you wanted me to take old girl home? Man, this isn't that. Please just take her home. So I ended up taking her home. Granted, she don't live that far from where we were originally, but she did, like, she was going further down. You get what I mean? So I'm like, damn, like, I'm going further deep into this area type shit. And I don't even know this girl like that. But she didn't live that far. She lived, give or take, 4 or 5 minutes. So I drop her off. She's like, thank you so much. I'm like, In my head, I'm like, yeah. Like, you messing with a nigga who don't even know how to, like, get you home. Like, mind you guys, we was in 12th grade at that time. You fucking a nigga that don't even know how to get you home. Okay, cool. And so, and I'm looking at Chuck like, you fucking a bitch and you don't even know how to get her home. Like, I'm just looking at both of them like, what's going on? So I'm like, Chuck, who is that? He's like, man, this is new hoe that I'm fucking. I'm like, okay, cool. So he's like, what y'all finna do? I'm like, we're finna drop you off and we're finna go home and eat. He's like, no, y'all not. I said, yes, we are. He says, no, y'all not. I said, yes, we are. So at this point, he's like, no, y'all finna take me to y'all house and I'm finna eat with y'all. I'm looking at Chuck like, look, Chuck, this, I don't know what you think this is. My car is not but the magic school bus. Like, bitch, I'm not taking you all the way to old girl's house and then driving you all the way back over to this area. I'm not doing that. And mind you, he didn't live that far from her, but like, still, like, y'all have to imagine in total of me driving to pick them up, driving to that girl's house, driving back to old girl's house, driving to Chuck to drop him off when it's all over and done with. That's gonna be too much driving for me, and I didn't want to do that. And I was in high school, and around that time I did not have a job. That's when I had just got fired from McDonald's, and I didn't have no money. I was getting money from my people, so I did not want to be doing all that, you know. And he's like, man, please, man, I'm gonna get you gas. I'm gonna get you gas. I said, do you have gas now? Do you have gas now? He told us, no, but I'm gonna get it. I promise you I am. I promise you I am. And like I told you guys before, Chuck was a thief in the night. Okay, we might as well call Chuck a thief in the day, because that motherfucker stole. It don't matter what time of day it was. So when he said, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it, I just was like, so I'm like, okay, Chuck, because I low-key wanted to hang out with him. So I'm like, okay, Chuck, come with us. So Chuck came with us. He didn't smoke because we had already smoked everything. He just ate the pizza or whatnot. And so we chilling, we having fun. And he was telling me that the girl that I had dropped off had she had a lot of money. Her people had a lot of money and they used to give her allowances. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, yeah. And the way he said, yeah, like, you know how like you just know your friend and you know what your friend is trying to do, or you know what your friend is thinking of doing. And the way he said, yeah, I'm like, what do you mean, yeah? He's like, yeah. I said, in my head, I'm like, I hope that girl never hangs out with him again, because that nigga gonna nail her to the cross type shit. The way he's saying, yeah, like, hell no. And I know a lot of y'all are thinking, why would you hang out with someone that would, hey, y'all, I was a kid. I was in 12th grade. And like I said before, he never did none of this foul shit to me. He, like, the image that people got of Chuck that wasn't the image that me and old girl got of Chuck. Like, Chuck looked at us like sisters, and he treated us as such. Like, he treated us like gentlemen. He treated us like ladies. I mean, he was a gentleman when it came to us. Whenever we would go out to eat, he would always pay for our foods. Even if we would go to Smoothie King, we never opened doors around him. Like, he just treated us so like, like he just treated us so, just so sweet, you know? So it was very hard, because it's like everyone hated him in that community, and like we liked him a lot. And then he was in a gang too, so like everyone hated him. He had ops left and right. I remember we would tell him, oh, come to a party with us. Nah, I can't go. Why? My ops going to that party. It was always something. I'm like, oh my God, like, nigga, why do you have so many enemies, and why do you have so many people that want to kill your ass? Oh, he finna hit a lick on her. Like, I can already tell he finna hit a lick. And he looked at me and he said, just know next time you see me out, I'm gonna have your money. I'm gonna have your money. And I'm like, so fast forward to next week, he calls me again, and I'm at old girl's house. Y'all, I hung out at this girl's house almost every day. Like, I would always go to her house. I wouldn't even tell my parents. I was such a rebellious teenager. And I'm going to get into more story times about my rebellion years. I started rebelling when I came out the womb. Okay? I was a rebellious child from when I was born. So I have so many story times to tell y'all about how my mama and me just used to butt heads. But yeah, I never used to tell my mom that I was going nowhere, because as far as I was concerned, I thought I was grown. I'm not even going to cap to you. Like, I thought I was grown. So I wouldn't tell my mom I'm going nowhere. I would come home, I would eat, and I'll go wherever I want to go, because I'm about to say it. I'm the first girl you put on the train. I don't want to, because I'm about to say it. Bitch, I'm the boss of me. No one else. Oh no, I need to lose weight, bro. I can't be breathing hard just from singing. I used to do whatever the hell I wanted to do. So I went to my friend's house. Me and my friend, we chilling, we smoking. And tell me why Chuck calls me. I'm like, oh my God. So I answer the phone. I'm like, yes, Chuck. Like, literally just like that. Because it's like, what do you want now? I'm like, yes, Chuck, what's up? He's like, man, come and get me, please. Like, come and get me. I'm like, nah, I'm not coming to get you. Mind you, it was a week that passed by and he still had not given me my gas money from the first time that I came to get his ass. And he was like, man, I said, no. Where's my gas money? He's like, I'm going to get you your gas money. Please just come and get me. So I'm like, okay, let me go get Chuck. So me and old girl, and on top of that, Chuck had a car, but Chuck got sent to alternative school, and so his people took his car away, so he didn't have a car no more. So that's for y'all who are wondering why. And why did Chuck? I don't know why Chuck got sent to alternative school. I think it was like gang affiliation, because in the area that Chuck lived in, it was 2 different alternative schools. It's really 3. So they have the first one, which is the one that I told the story time on, which is inside the school. Then they have the second one, which is called ALC. And ALC is like for people who are just bad. And then Crossroads are for people who've done criminal activity and stuff like that. And he did criminal activity, and we're going to get into that. But prior to him going to Crossroads, he went to, I think, AOC for like gang affiliation. And so he was at AOC first, and then they transferred him to Crossroads, because like we're going to get into that later on. So his people took away his car, so he will always have me picking him up. But like I said before, Chuck always used to buy us stuff. He would buy us stuff. Chuck liked us. He had a crush on me. Like, he actually liked me, wanted to be with me. I don't want to be with his ass. Look what he did to all the mother hoes. I don't want him to do it to me. So he was like, man, please come and get me. Come and get me. So I'm like, man, let me come and get this nigga. So I went to go get him. Me and old girl, we went to go get him. He gets in the car, he's breathing hard. I'm like, why are you breathing hard? He's like, man, just drive. I'm like, drive where? He's like, drive back to my house. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, oh, you don't want to hang out with us today? He's like, no. I'm like, okay. So we drove him to his house, and he has a park in his neighborhood, and he's like, stop right here. I'm like, okay. He gets out of the car. Mind you, I stopped right in front of the park of his neighborhood. He gets out of the car. And tell me why Chuck starts digging into the ground. When I say digging, I mean bare hands, just digging. And I'm like, oh, no. Chuck has to walk the rest of the way home, because Chuck is not about to get in my car with this dirt and be thinking that he's about to put dirt in my car. He's just not. So Chuck has to walk the rest of the way home. At this point, I told Chuck, I'm like, you can't get in my car. Like, you doing too much. You're digging into the dirt. He's like, man, shut up. Like, he laughing. He like, man, shut up. Tell me why Chuck gets out of the dirt. I think like $300, a phone, an iPhone. Yeah, I think that was about it. Like $300 and an iPhone. So now, at this point in time, me and my friend, we looking at each other. And my friend like, bitch, let's go back to the house. Like, I'm not dealing with his shenanigans today. So I'm like, Chuck, where'd you get that from? He's like, man, don't ask me no questions. I'm like, no. You can't get in my car until you let me know where you got that from. Man, like, don't ask me questions. Like, just know that I got it. This is and that, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just looking at him. You know the funny thing? I'm not even looking at him because he's in the back. I'm looking at my friend, and my friend is looking at me. And we're just thinking, where did Chuck get this phone from? Like, Chuck, where'd you get this phone from? I'm like, I'm gonna ask you again, where'd you get the phone from? He's like, y'all remember that girl that you dropped off the other day, Irene? I'm like, yes. He was like, it's her phone. And I'm like, what are you doing with her phone? He's like, I stole it. I'm like, y'all, literally, I was just like, why? Like, why am I cool with people like this? Like, why? Like, why am I cool with people like this? And then he sits there and says, and you remember I told you I was gonna have your gas money this week? I'm like, yes. He's like, here we go. And he giving me the money. Like, he gave me like, I think $40 or $50. And then he gave old girl some money just for like being cool. I don't know. Chuck always used to split. Oh, girl, she take the money, and bitch, I take it too. Cause bitch, gas in the car. Nigga, what's up? Gas in the car. I'm like, Chuck. So he's like, man, I had to stain that hoe. Y'all, tell me why Chuck had sex with the girl and robbed her right after they had sex. Like, he put a gun to her head and he robbed her. I'm like, what is, like, it's just, I was just mind boggled. Like, y'all, I was just so mind boggled. I was just like, I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to do. Like, I just don't know what to do. Like, this nigga is just, he's cuckoo. At this point, I'm like, okay, Chuck, you need to go home, because I don't want to deal with it no more. I'm like, you need to go home. And I was like, you need to get that girl back her phone. Like, I did that, so I'm like, get that girl back her phone. Like, you didn't need to steal her phone. You could have took the money, but you didn't need to take her phone. Like, you're putting yourself in more trouble than usual. Like, you know, iPhones have tracking and stuff. And at this point in time, everybody's texting her phone saying, give my sister back her phone. Give my cousin back her phone. I'm like, oh, no, Chuck, you gotta go. Because if this girl called the police, you know, to do a track down on the iPhone, and it leads to my car or my area, or you're with me, I'm not gonna be happy if I get put into this situation, because 9 times out of 10, I might get in trouble just for accepting the money that you gave to me, you know, because it's her money. He's like, all right, I'm going home, and I ain't giving that bitch back her phone. He starts saying, I'm not giving her back her phone. I don't give a damn. He starts, I don't give a damn. I'm not giving her back her phone. So he leaves, and I started talking to a girl, my friend, and I was like, he getting out of hand. And she was like, he is low key, like he low key overdoing it, like he overstepping boundaries, like he gonna get in trouble type shit. So we go back to her house, and I know a lot of y'all thinking, oh, y'all wasn't that worried. We took the money and did. I took it. I needed my gas money. A couple of months passed by, and what happens? Chuck calls me. He calls me, which was normal. Chuck always used to call me. So Chuck calls me, and he's like, hello. And mind you, like, I'm like, yeah, what's up? And he's like, I'm in trouble. And I'm like, what now, Chuck? Like, Chuck was always in trouble, so I wasn't shocked. And he was like, man, he was like, I did some things. And he said, but I promise you, like, I didn't rape her. I'm like, rape? The person you're calling is not available at the moment. Please hang up and don't call again. Don't call me no more. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. So at this point, I'm like, what are you talking about? You didn't rape her. He's like, man, I didn't rape that hoe, man. She gave me the pussy. She a liar. Da da da. I'm like, can you backtrack and can you let me know everything that happened? I don't want to get too deep into this, but Chuck got jammed up so badly. And like, the thing is, Chuck never lied to me and old girl. Like, if he did it, he would say he did it. And the second thing, I'm not trying to like take up for an abuser, because I know some people in my comments going to be, at the end of the day, you do not know whether he did it or he did not do it. But I do not think Chuck raped that girl. Hear me out. So Chuck was turning 18 in like a couple of weeks, and the girl that he was sleeping with was 16 or 15. She was one of those ages. Don't quote me. I'm not 100% sure. He been talking to me about this girl. Like, he been told me that like he thinks he likes her, which was so shocking because Chuck did not like no girl. He just wanted to smash them all. But he said that he actually really liked this girl, and he told me that he's been trying to link with her, but she has very strict parents. So one day he ended up linking with her, and he told me that he linked with her and they had sex, right? Now, he was telling me about it, and he was saying like, yeah, like but the girl was a virgin. And I was like, oh, you like her? He was like, I think I like her. And I was like, oh my God. Like, usually Chuck would be like, man, I fucked that hoe. Like, yeah, I fucked that hoe. Like, man, whatever. And he'll just, whatever, like he didn't care. So I was like, oh my God, like Chuck has like a crush. Like, Chuck actually, like, let me get in the camera, because a lot of y'all finna say, what the fuck is this whole doing in the corner? But yeah, so I was like, damn, like Chuck actually likes someone, you know, like this is something serious type shit. This is something serious. So I'm like, oh my God, wow. And then he said that I'm guessing, you know, the girl's parents were strict, so they used to go through her phone. And I'm guessing when they went through her phone, they seen the mess. I guess she never deleted her messages of her and Chuck's conversation. And I'm guessing in the conversation, I don't remember what happened, but it gave off the vibe that they were linking. Something gave off the vibe that they were linking with each other, right? So at this point in time, the girl, I think Chuck said, I'm gonna bring a condom. It's just something. I don't really remember. This was so long ago. This was 2016, 2015-ish, 16-ish. So at this point in time, Chuck and the girl links, and the girl finds out that the girl's parents find out that she has sex, right? So they call Chuck and they start going off on Chuck. And they're like, who are you? And who are you sleeping with my daughter? And at this point in time, the parents had already asked the daughter everything about him. What's his name? What school does he go to? How old is he? And I think the girl said he was 17 because Chuck was 17. And the girl was 15. She was 15. And her parents, in the state of Texas, you cannot be 17 having sex with a 15-year-old. It's illegal, I think. Yeah, it's illegal. You have to be 16. You can't be 17. I think it's something like that. Yeah, you can't be 17. So because she said his age, they went AWOL and they started classifying it as rape, which, you know, that's just the state's rules. But Chuck did not rape her. She told her parents that Chuck did not rape her. Her parents was not trying to hear it. They were just very angry at the fact that she was having sex at the age of 15. And they called the police on Chuck, and Chuck got arrested. And you know the funny thing? Chuck got arrested the day of his 18th birthday. Like, they called the police on Chuck like 3 weeks before his birthday, but they arrested Chuck the day he turned 18. Like, he was sleeping and they knocked on the door with a whole bunch of police officers and they arrested that ass. So now it's time to go to trial. Well, not trial, but court, basically. So Chuck is telling me all of this, but Chuck is telling me this before he got arrested. So Chuck is telling me what's going on, like, prior to him getting arrested. And he's like, man, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm fucked. And he keeps telling her, like, bro, like, tell your parents that we didn't. And she's like, I told my parents, and my parents are not trying to hear it. Like, her parents were not happy that their daughter was having sex. And I guess they were just like, we just gonna take him down. Like, we're not happy at the fact that you're having sex, and we are damn sure not happy at the fact that you're having sex with a 17-year-old who's about to turn 18. So we're gonna take you down. Like, we're gonna take him down type shit. And you will never do it again type shit. So now Chuck is arrested. Chuck got arrested, right? And at this point in time, I don't have no communication with Chuck, right? He calls me from jail and he gives me a brief little, like, statement about what happened. And I'm just like, wow, like, I'm sad. Mind you guys, at this point in time, I had just got arrested and I was in alternative school. And if you guys have not watched that story time, go look and watch it. So I was going through my shit too. It wasn't just him that was going through stuff, but he was going through way worse stuff than me, because I just got arrested and the police, you know, I didn't get charged or nothing. They just let me go. But Chuck ass was actually going to jail. Like, Chuck was facing jail time for statutory rape, I think. I don't remember. Don't quote me. But yeah. So Chuck calls me and I'm like, damn. So I told a girl what happened because he didn't call her. And Chuck was more closer with me than her. So at this point in time, my friend calls me. Now, my friend that I've been telling y'all about, the other friend that I told y'all about that Chuck messed with, that her pictures got exposed. She calls me and she's like, I gotta go to court on such and such day because of Chuck. And I'm like, why do you have to go to court? And she was like, I don't know. They sent me is it a subpoena? She was like, they sent me a subpoena and they said it's mandatory. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, why do you have to go to court again? And she's like, you remember the time that Chuck stole my phone? And I'm like, yeah. And she says, I'm guessing they want to talk about that. And mind you, at this point in time, I did not tell my friend that Chuck was in jail because of the other thing, because my friend did not like him and I didn't want to be messy and, like, tell her, you know, that. So, like, I just was like, wow, like, okay, so if Chuck is in jail for statutory rape, wouldn't they focus on statutory rape rather than stealing an iPhone? So my mind was just so confused. Like, I was just so confused, but I was just like, okay, whatever. And I told her, I'm like, are you gonna go? She's like, it's mandatory. Like, they're gonna arrest me if I don't go. And I'm like, oh, wow. So she went. Now we about to get into what happened when she went to court, y'all. We've, like, Chuck, look, just before I start talking about everything that happened in court, I feel so bad for Chuck, because it's like, he actually liked this girl, but I feel like karma got Chuck because of all the things that he did to previous girls. And that's why I say karma, y'all, karma is a bitch. But not only is karma a bitch, karma is real. Y'all gotta be careful how y'all be treating people on this here earth, because if y'all don't know who karma is, bro, y'all better ask about her. But I'm gonna get into how my friend went to court. So I'm chilling and my friend calls me and she's like, girl, you knew why Chuck was in jail. And I'm just like, bitch, what do you say when you get caught? You just stay silent. Hands behind your back. No, I'm just kidding, but I knew. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna tell you, okay? So I just stayed silent because it's like, of course I knew. Like, I'm not gonna tell you. You don't like him. You don't like the fact that me and him are friends. Like, you know, I'm just not gonna tell you, you know, like why he's in jail. Like, you're gonna be happy type shit. And sure enough, she was very happy. I don't blame her. I'll be happy too if he did what he did to me. The shit that I'll be happy. I'll be happy. So she's like, I'm like, okay, so what happened at the court day? Like, I just completely ignored her. And I was like, what happened at court today? Like, what happened? Y'all, she says, all I know is Chuck is in trouble. And I'm like, and I said, what happened? She said, girl, it was not just me at the courthouse. I said, who else was there? Y'all, every story time that I told you about, where Chuck has offended a girl, was testifying against him. The only girl that was not testifying against Chuck was his baby mama. At this time, Chuck now had the baby. And that's another thing. I didn't tell y'all about this, but Chuck was not taking care of his kid. He would come to her house and he would act like he was coming to take care of his kid. And she had a brother. He would go upstairs with his brother and play 2K. And I remember coming to her house one day because he was like, man, my baby mama be tripping, man. She claimed I don't take care of the kid. I'm always there. I'm always there. So I was like, well, let's go to the house and I want to see what she got to say. Because I just wanted to see what she had to say. So he asked if his friends could come to the house and she didn't care. She was like, whatever, I don't care. So I went to the house and she was a very nice girl. And I was like, hey, girl. And she was like, hey. And I was like, what's up with you and Chuck? And she was like, he does not take care of his kids. He is not responsible. He does not do what he's supposed to do. Like, he just don't care. Like, he just don't care at all. I was asking her, like, what is he doing? She was like, he goes upstairs and he plays games with my little brother. That's what he does. And so me and my friend, we're just looking at Chuck like, really? Like, you really come to this girl's house to play games? Like, and you have a child? And he said that if the baby, like, if Chuck is holding the baby and the baby starts crying, he just be like, here, take her, like, take her. She crying for, take her. And I was just like, then he started denying the baby. He started saying that the baby was not his, y'all. I was looking at the baby in the living room and I'm like, you're a fucking liar. The baby did not even look like the baby mama. The baby looked just like Chuck. And so me and my friend, we're just looking at each other. Like, me and my friend, whenever Chuck would do dumb shit, we'll just always look at each other and laugh. And so she looked at Chuck and she was like, Chuck, you that's your kid. You don't need a DNA test. That girl looks just like you. He's like, man. So she was the only one who didn't testify against him. And I guess she had like a soft spot for him because, like, you know, that was her baby's father. Like, even though Chuck didn't really like do what he was fully supposed to do, he still will always come there and try to. Chuck was just a childish person. Like, he would take care of the baby, but at the expense of him irritating her, being childish. You like, kind of like a Blueface. You know how Blueface and his baby mama be going back and forth, but like Blueface is still a good dad, but he's very toxic. Chuck was kind of like that, but Chuck was a little worse than Blueface because, like, there would be days he would not take care of that baby. Like, he would come to her house, go upstairs and play with her brother on 2K. And mind you, her brother was younger, so it's not like her brother was older to be like, hey man, like, you treated my sister like shit. Like, no, the brother was like, I'm gonna say 14, 13. You know, when they're young at that age, they just want somebody to play on the game with them. The brother didn't care. Everybody's testifying against him. From the girl that he left at Galveston because she didn't want to fuck, to the girl that he stole the phone, the one that he gave us the money, to my friend. And I think 2 other girls was testifying against him to attest to the fact that this man is a predator. And it worked in their defense because I never seen Chuck again after that. That's the story time. That's it. I don't know how many years he got. They said that he got 6 years, but it's about to be 2022 and he's still in jail. And Chuck went to jail in 2016. So that's 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Oh, he should be coming out next year. And Chuck's family ended up raising his daughter. His daughter has grown up. She's so pretty. I seen her the other day on socials. And yeah, that's it. The downfall of my coworker. I miss him a lot. That was one of my closest friends that I've ever had in my life. Closest guy friends that I've ever had in my life. I feel like karma came for him, even though it's so weird because it's like karma came at a time where he was doing right. Like, he actually told me he liked that girl. Like, he was actually trying to be serious by her, and look what happened. All the other girls, and I feel like God was like, you're not gonna get the happily ever after. That's not what's gonna happen. That's what I think God was like. I think God was like, you've been disrespecting all these other girls, and you think you're gonna find the girl that you actually like and settle down with her, and everything's gonna go good? Nah. God was like, you ain't finna get it. You ain't finna get it. God, that's the story talking about the time that my coworker went to jail. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this. Also, y'all let me know how y'all feel about this hair. If y'all like it, let me know down below. And go ahead and like this video. Like, just stop what you're doing. Like the video before you click off. And like I said before, everything, all the info will be put down below for this hair. And I will see you guys in the next one. I love you guys so much. If you are not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so. You'll have fun over here. Bye, guys.